Good afternoon. My name is Victor Moyakane, and I'm here to present the 1 o'clock news to you on Madaraka Day. So first things first, happy Madaraka Day to you. We have seen the President in the live broadcast preceding this news bulletin. We've heard what he has said, and let us watch to see what will happen in regard to the things that he has outlined or directed to happen in this country. Now, we begin our bulletin with news of leaders drawn from both sides of the political divide who want a number of changes to be effected in this country. And now, of course, this is following details of the National Prayer Breakfast that happened yesterday, in addition to the details coming in, or rather the images and the sentiments coming in from the coverage of the Madaraka Day. Now, they want those found culpable of misappropriating funds, public funds for that matter, to be prosecuted. The leaders who lauded the move by NASA leaders Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka to support efforts by the President to fight corruption are adamant that individuals listed in the recent graft scandals in various government departments must face the full force of the law without leniency if the war against graft is to be won.
Competition has certainly divided us, but there are other subtler forces. It may be a long wait for some to get public service. It may be disrespectful for our language and culture, or it may be that in the past one region or another had less than its fair share of Kenya's resources. All of these have played their part in dividing us and in delaying the dreams of our founders. These problems are even older than the Republic. They are certainly not our fault. But if disunity itself is not of our doing, it is certainly our problem to solve. We have a clear choice. We should be bold enough to reject politics of division. We admit that we have made mistakes in the past, but we also have a great opportunity of transforming our society to forge ahead, guided by past experiences, and we must focus on the future. Our founding fathers and mothers understood the dangers of sticking to the past. After the suffering they had undergone in the struggle for independence, which was preceded by decades of dispossession and oppression, they sought to look to the future rather than stay stuck in the past. They told us and said,
now, those are the sentiments of the President that were expressed just a few minutes ago in his official speech at the Madaraka Day celebrations earlier at the Kinoru Stadium in Meru. Now, there are other leaders also drawn from both sides of the political divide, of course, from the official opposition and the government side, who are adding their voices to this debate on corruption and what should be done to deal with officials who have been named in these scandals. Eric Bigon brings you the story from the political angle.
We have and all those.
During the 16th prayer breakfast session at Safari Park Thursday, Raila Odinga and his NASA co-principal Kalonzo Musyoka expressed their support to President Kenyatta's efforts to slay the dragon that is corruption. The move by the two now being lauded by political players in the country. Jubilee lawmakers drawn from Kiambu County want those involved in graft dealt with decisively.
Na wale wamekuwa wametajwa hapa na pale, mimi ningeomba serikali hapa hata kama tumehurumiana, hakuna kuhurumia mwizi. Hata na kama mwizi atahurumiwe, ile pesa amechukua ya umma arudishe kwa umma, alafu tumuhurumie kama yeye amerudisha pesa.
Wale majangiri ambao wamekuwa wakikula pesa za umma, hasa wale walishikwa kama wamekula pesa za NYS, itahakikisha hao watu wametiwa baroni na pia wamefunguliwa mashtaka, wawe funzo kwa wale ambao wamekuwa wakikula pesa za umma.
United in condemnation, their NASA counterparts in Migori insist that persons implicated in recent cases of fraud in government cannot be let off the hook after embezzlement of public funds.
We want every stone to be turned upside down. Tumeumia sana, pesa kama bunge tunatenga na inakulwa tu.
Meanwhile, Samburu Governor Moses Lennon Kulal has extended an olive branch to former Samburu West MP Simon Lesirma after trouncing petition challenging his election.
We also take this opportunity to wish Lesirma, who was the opponent, very well in his life going forward. Probably has ambitions to try something else. And going forward, we have no hard feelings. It was just a way of telling him that he lost, and he lost in a big margin.
Aboy and Lennon Kulal claimed that the petition was malicious and only meant to derail his development agenda. Eric Biegon reporting for Channel 1 News.
Tana River County is developing an action plan to counter violent extremism as authorities in the region move to counter youth radicalization. The plan, developed by political and religious leaders in partnership with the national and county governments, come in the wake of renewed fears that militant groups could take advantage of perennial tribal conflicts in the area to recruit new members.
The Kenyan government has intensified its war on militant groups in recent years as it moves to counter the threats posed by Al-Shabaab militant group that has its base in neighboring Somalia. Sympathizers of the militant group have in return staged attacks in the country, with some coastal districts in the coast region and northern Kenya suffering the brunt. A forum hosted by the Kenya Community Support Center and the National Counter-Terrorism Center, bringing together leaders from Tana River County, resolved to develop an action plan to counter the effects of violent extremism.
Vizuri kuleta wanajamii pamoja wajadiliane umuhimu wa kuwa na action plan yao. Hii action plan ni mfumo tu ambao utaweza kuleta wanajamii wote, stakeholders pamoja, wazungumziane ni vipi watakapo anzisha mikakati.
Sisi tukipigana mara nyingi huwa ni mifugo, ni shamba, mkulima na mfugaji. Lakini chunguza, si chanzo huwa si watu wa Tana River.
Organizers of the event expressing fears that a youth group could be engaging in terrorism activities after a research conducted by the Kenya Community Support Center identified several areas in the county as terrorism hotspots.
Maneno ya usalama tuichukue maneno muhimu, kwa shauri hiyo inatuletea jina baya.
Kama ni kitu inahusika na usalama, maofisa hao wote wako, utuambie na tutakupa ile habari kamili.
Tana River County has in the recent past experienced community conflicts due to limited resources, with fears emerging that terror groups could take advantage to recruit youth and lay out strategies on how to carry out their activities. Irene Mchuma Udim, The Lunchtime News.
In other news, over 500 families who will be displaced to pave way for the construction of the proposed Karumenu Dam have vowed to oppose the project unless their concerns are considered. The families claim that the architects of the project have ignored their plight despite numerous efforts to reach those concerned.
The construction of a multi-billion shillings water dam in Gatundu North constituency may delay after more than 600 families who are expected to leave the area to pave way for its construction vote to remain put pending the fully compensation. According to locals, the government has not factored their concerns in the compensation plan, bearing in mind that their lives will be affected by the planned relocation. Gatundu North Deputy County Commissioner Frederick Martin Muli urging them to be patient as the government works on finer details.
We are very happy to embracing the dam, but we don't want the common mwananchi to suffer. We want everything to go in the right way, and we are aware that maybe things have not been going in the right direction. Kindly help us rectify and fight against anything that's going to hurt the people.
Lakini nataka muwe na subira, kama iko maneno ndio tumekuja kama viongozi. Hakuna maneno yote ambao viongozi wakikaa chini itaweza kutushinda. Tutaweza kukaa chini na kufanya nini? Kutafuta suluhisho.
Affected landowners say the compensation plan was to be settled in 2 phases.
Pesa yote kila mtu ni kama amegonja nini? Amelipwa. Na hiyo shamba haiwezi kununuliwa kabla survey haijakanyaga kwa kila mmoja wenu. Ndio tunasema surveyors. Na ndio nilikuwa nataka CEO au hapa. They move with speed. Waenda kwa ile area nyingine. Waweze kufanya survey na waweze kufanya mapping. Na waende Pikoni. Ndio sasa valuation ianze. Tukijua valuation sasa tunaweza kujua value ya shamba hili kiasi fulani ili tuweze kulinganisha na value ya mahali tunataka kwenda.
The 24 billion shillings Karemenu Dam is meant to serve and provide drinking water to 850,000 households in Kiambu and Nairobi counties. Linus Moshegadi for Channel 1 News.
Examination center managers will now have more autonomy in the management of all national examinations in new guidelines announced by the Education Ministry. Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed says that the role of the managers will now be expanded to ensure that they remain firmly at the helm of providing leadership as the government moves to seal all loopholes for possible malpractices.
It has been a long journey towards sanity in the administration of national examinations, a process that saw a drastic shift in last year's examinations with commendable results. Speaking in Meru during a district education day, Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed said the government has introduced stricter regulation amid fears that unscrupulous school principals could be planning to aid in the stealing of examinations.
We have now resolved to give the principals, center managers, more power, to empower them so that they remain firmly at the helm of providing leadership during examinations. From this year, therefore, the center manager's role will include witnessing the opening of examination scripts to ensure that they are intact, working with exam officials to enforce examination rules, witnessing the sealing of answer sheets after examinations, and keeping off unnecessary staff from school compounds during the season.
The measures include the empowerment of center managers that will see them monitor the opening of examination scripts, sealing of the answer sheets, work with exam officials to enforce examination rules, as well as keep unnecessary staff out of the school compounds. This, according to Education CS, will eliminate third-party school heads who have refused to take responsibility over exam cheating in the past.
Principals actually claimed that they had no role in the examinations besides picking up the exam papers every morning and returning answer scripts to the container.
Amina, who advised parents to focus on ensuring the children performed well in the forthcoming national exams rather than engage in raising money to buy leakage papers, says watertight measures are in place to ensure no exam irregularities. At the same time, she said that the government has issued 6 billion shillings for infrastructure development, where each county has received 12 million shillings as the government moves to enhance the capacity of education institutions.
Cognizant of this fact, we are making every effort to ensure that schools are funded to improve and expand these facilities. In this regard, the ministry has disbursed over 6 billion to secondary schools, Kenya shillings that is, to improve the infrastructure to facilitate that 100% transition.
Amina warning those engaged in selling drugs to school children that stern action will be taken against them. Linus Moshegadi for Channel 1 News.
Transport along the Kitale-Lodwar Highway has resumed after hours of paralysis that had negatively affected the economy of Turkana County and its environs. Operations along the busy road resumed at midnight, a few hours after Petroleum and Mining Cabinet Secretary John Munyas toured the area. On Thursday, all motorists were barred from using the road as the Kenya National Highway Authority reinforced the Kainuk Bridge.
It has been a challenging season for motorists plying the Kitale-Lodwar Highway, with the constant destruction of the Kainuk Bridge by floods resulting from heavy rains that have been pounding the region. The predicament was evident for the past 2 days, where heavy trucks were stuck along the busy highway after the key bridge gave in. The government opting for a Bailey Bridge to ease the suffering of the motorists, with a normal operation resuming at midnight. The development coming as a reprieve for dozens of long-distance truck drivers who had been stranded for hours. Mining Cabinet Secretary John Munyes had earlier promised stranded motorists that the government was doing everything possible to address the situation.
The government will ensure by the time the president, comes here to flag off the trucks, this bridge will be done by then.
I will be the happiest member of parliament in my community. As you have seen, almost 1,000 trucks are stranded with drivers, with our passengers, even our own pupils. We will be the happiest to confirm that on that the trucks will pass here.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is scheduled for flag-off of the tracking of unrefined fuel under the early oil pilot scheme on Sunday. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Kaltun Jama.